Hello and welcome to That's Football. Koeman sacked by Everton. Jurgen Klopp maybe next. A few weeks ago, I was asked on That's Football, and it's great to be back, by the way. I was asked who do I think will be the next manager to be sacked in the Premier League, and I said Craig Shakespeare. And a lot of people did say Koeman at the time, but I was proved right with Shakespeare because it's not always just about fixtures and results. It's also about the club and who is running the club. And I think, to be honest with you, if Ken Wright was still in charge at Everton, Bill Kenwright, I don't think Koeman would have been sacked. But the owners at Leicester, they sacked Ranieri, who won them a trophy they'll never win again. They were always going to get rid of Shakespeare. In relation to Everton sacking Koeman, do I feel sorry for him? At the end of the day, he'll be well recompensed, and he'll go and build his career elsewhere. The funny thing is about Koeman, I was asked when Manchester United had Louis van Gaal in charge, just that Christmas when everyone wanted to get rid of him. I remember it was around November time, and we did a show on the United Stand, and I was asked, like, who would you like to be the next Manchester United manager? And I said, well, to be honest, Premier League proven does mean a lot, and the two up-and-coming managers I really like are Koeman and Pochettino. So from a Koeman perspective, maybe that would have been a mistake. He was given a big opportunity at Everton. Not so bad last year, but I think the problem with Everton is twofold. One, Lukaku. I was saying this weeks ago as well. Lukaku, whether you think he's world-class, top-class, whatever, he's certainly a very good player for Everton. And when you take a player like that out of your team, consistently going to score you a lot of Premier League goals. It's very difficult for a team like Everton to replace that. If you're Arsenal, if you're Manchester United, if you're Manchester City, just go and spend a load more money on another good striker. But if you're Everton, you can't go and get one of the best strikers in world football to replace Lukaku because they don't want to come and play for you. So that was very difficult, no matter they got 75 million. I know he spent a lot of money, it just didn't really work out. But I also think from an Everton point of view, and this is only because I'm obviously doing my FIFA career mode on here, I did start off as Everton, and the start to their season is ridiculous. There's only been 9 Premier League games, and Everton have played Arsenal, Manchester United, Manchester City, Spurs, Liverpool and Chelsea. They've played all 6, and that is very... Actually, have they played Liverpool? I don't know whether they have played Liverpool yet, but they've played 5 of the best teams in England out of 9. So they've not really had many opportunities to build some points, and I don't think the owners have taken that into account either. Ultimately, who will the next Everton manager be? They could go big for somebody like Ancelotti, but again, I think that's like, why would Ancelotti want to go to Everton? I just don't see that happening. David Moyes, would they really want to make that mistake? I mean, I know he was good at Everton for a few years, but look what he did at Sunderland, and look what he did in Spain, and look what he did at Manchester United. I think they'll go bigger than that, Everton, but it'd be interesting to see who they go for. I would not bet against them going somebody foreign, somebody we've not really heard of either before. But if I was them, I'd be looking at the Watford manager. I think, the one thing about Silva at Watford and at Hull last year, he's excellent with home form, and that's the fundamental thing to sort out if you want to have any successful team. So wouldn't be surprised if they move for him, but he's got a good set of players at Watford, and you'd say Watford are a better team than Everton at the moment. So I don't know about that. Jurgen Klopp is also in the title, isn't he? Koeman sacked by Everton. Klopp next? Question mark. You know what? 2 years he's been at Liverpool, and I don't really see what the progression is. 7 points off Manchester United and Spurs in 2nd place. 12 points off Manchester City after 9 games. I mean, that is... I think if this was Hodgson in charge... I remember when Hodgson was in charge at Liverpool, they were booing him and they were forcing him out. But Klopp has just got this brilliant illusion over Liverpool fans and the press, who think he is the chosen one, despite him being here for 2 years... And they haven't made any progress. They've probably slightly gone backwards from where they were under Brendan Rodgers. But, as I said yesterday, obviously Spurs play at Wembley. Liverpool were going there. Wembley's where they play cup finals. So there's no... Klopp was always going to bottle it there. But he hasn't sorted out the defence in 2 years. And I think that is sackable in itself. Personally, I want Klopp to stay, because as a Manchester United fan, I'm more than happy for him to stay because he'll never, ever make them successful. But... it does surprise me how Liverpool fans stick by him. I mean, you got absolutely hammered yesterday. 4-1, that's embarrassing. By a side, realistically, you should be expecting to be, battling with Spurs for whatever Spurs are battling for. But they're so far off it. They're a bit of a one-man team. No Mane, no Partey. Coutinho is obviously going to leave, even if he desperately wanted to leave in the summer. Of course he's going to want to leave. Why would any decent player want to be at Liverpool at the moment? I mean... and that's no. I'm not disrespecting Liverpool there. I mean, why would a decent attacker want to play for Liverpool when he looks behind him and sees defenders like that? It's like, you know, playing for the dog and duck. It's Sunday League football. As was Lindelof's, granted, but Lovren and Matip and Mingale, shocking defenders, and that will ultimately always undermine what Liverpool try to do. I think Liverpool on their day can beat anybody, but over a season they'll lose a lot of games because of that back four. So I don't think Klopp will be next. I think the next man. I do think Conte will be sacked this year. I've said that all along. And I know I've been right with a couple, and I think Conte will be sacked. I don't think he's going to be the next manager to be sacked. I think Bilic will be next, and I think that's quite obvious. But I do think Conte will be sacked. Very lucky against Watford at the weekend. And not going to retain the title. And the longer this season goes on, I think the more they will drop silly points. And Abramovich, he sacks managers. So I don't think Conte will be at Chelsea next season. He may try and get out under the guise of I want to go back to Italy, but if he lasts the season, he'll do really well. And we know that Chelsea players do have a history of downing tools for managers. So and then Conte's got a big gob on him, hasn't he? It won't take long to turn them players against him, I don't think. Kieran Burns says he thinks that Ancelotti fancies the Everton job. The Premier League is where the best managers are now. I tell you what, I've got nothing against Everton anyway. They're a bit like Spurs to me. I quite like the club. I don't know what anybody else thinks about that, but I'd like Ancelotti to go to Everton. I like Ancelotti as a manager, and I think Everton have certainly got money. I mean, if you're an Everton fan, I suppose there's always the argument of where sacking managers is not a nice thing, but this is what happens when you get a load of money, and Everton have got a lot of money, and it's ruthless, but it's new owners, and let's see what happens. Everton are a decent club. They've spent, and one thing I would say about Koeman, he has spent a lot of money, and has it paid off? I mean, out of all these new signings, have they paid off? Sigurdsson, no. Klaassen, no. Rooney, look, Rooney, I could have told anybody, any United fan would tell you, love Wayne Rooney, but he's definitely on the decline. So, yeah, they just don't have enough speed in their team, Everton, and that is very, very evident. Claudio Ranieri could return, says Alex Bork. Koeman was sacked, Pankaj, that's the room. Mark Hughes, says Official Niche. Mark Hughes to be sacked next, not as Everton manager. Mark, do you think Jose will be sacked, says HTO Gaming. No, we're a long way off Jose Mourinho being sacked. Richard Hoshia is obviously a United fan. He says, shame about the sacking for Koeman, but thanks for taking Rooney offers. And Everton are in the bottom three. How about Tony Pulis? You never know, says Alex Duncan. Spurs are battling to be chief bridesmaids as always, says George Kyle. Yeah, Spurs won't win the league. I really do like Spurs, but they are going to be the best team of the last 5 years that didn't win the league. They've been very, very good, but I don't think they'll win the league. Marco Silva would be good for Everton. Yeah, I don't know whether they'll get him away from Watford. I mean, Marco Silva, for me, other than Pochettino, is the best manager in the league. I will be live at 8 o'clock on the United Stand, yes. Lukaku leaving has Everton in a shambles, says Jeff Elder. We need and Klopp won't be sacked, says Alex Bork. No, I don't think he will. I think if you're not a Liverpool fan, you're probably quite happy about that. If you're a Liverpool fan, as I said, I think you're being blinded by passion. He's a passion merchant, isn't he? But is there any substance to it? Look, Liverpool are never going to win the league. I mean, that's a big statement, but they're certainly not going to win the league under Klopp. So, will he be the next manager sacked? No, I'm convinced Klopp will still be at Liverpool in a year's time. I think Liverpool, rightly or wrongly, are going down the Sir Alex Ferguson route, where Sir Alex Ferguson took a few years to sort everything out. And I think in Klopp, they feel that they've got a manager who can do that. But Sir Alex Ferguson was a lot younger, and he sorted out the fundamentals a lot quicker. I mean, Klopp's 60, isn't he? And I just think you build from the back. Any manager will tell you that. You've got to sort your defence out. And he's just never done it. He's never done it. And they've got Huddersfield at home next weekend. And I'm sure they'll batter Huddersfield, because that would just be typical of Liverpool, wouldn't it? But already 7 points off United and Spurs. And I think that, and three behind Arsenal. I think the 3 behind Chelsea as well. They're already playing catch up. And they pretty much are mid-table. I mean, I think Liverpool will put up a fight for fourth, but at the moment, I mean, is that progress from last year? I think, Liverpool fans seem to be very happy with Klopp. I don't understand why, but I'm more than happy for him to stay. Ultimately, I think the Everton one is a divider. Should Koeman have been sacked? When you've played the top 5 teams in your first 9 games, that's 50% of your games. It means you're always going to have a difficult start. So effectively, I think they've sacked him off 4 Premier League games, because you cannot count Everton against United, City, Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea as a gauge. You've got to judge him on the other games. But granted, he did lose to Brighton, didn't he? And they've had a bad start. But I think, you know, if he's lost the dressing room, you have to sack a manager, and maybe that's happened. And his recruitment was always hindered by Lukaku. He's very hard to replace. But to be honest, I think he could have spent better as well. I personally would have gone and got a quick, powerful striker. I mean, there are players out there. There'd be a bit of a risk, but there are players out there. But they're just too static, Everton. So I'm interested to see what happens with Everton, though. I do like them as a club. Very interested to see what they do next. Anyway, that's my quick 10-minute video on That's Football. I've not been on for a while, so I thought I'd do one. Do remember to drop a like, leave your comments below if you're not watching live, and subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with That's Football, the football channel that's for everybody to have their say. Yeah, thanks everybody. Really enjoyed that. Lovenish, I knew somebody would say it. Do you think Ryan Giggs could be offered the job at Everton? Ryan Giggs can't even get a job in the Championship. Look, if Ryan Giggs wants to be a manager, he should have gone and got a job a long time before now. I think Everton would be making a huge mistake, and they wouldn't do that. Why would you give it to Giggs? I've not seen any evidence that Giggs is a manager anyway. I think Giggs is better suited to the punditry, you know, handed a script and read it out. But no, I don't think that. Thanks everybody for watching. That's football. We don't know what else we've got planned this week. Premier League preview definitely on Thursday night as usual, but don't know about watch-alongs because it's League Cup, isn't it? I don't know whether anybody wants us to do a League Cup game. I know Xander's listening. At the weekend, the big game is Spurs United, which I'll be doing on the United Stand, but I'm sure there are other games we can do as well. So watch this space on That's Football, and Friday night will be the next FIFA stream as per usual at 9 o'clock. Thanks everyone for watching. I'd love to see Roy Keane at Everton, Aaron Hemmings, I really would. I'll see you at 8 o'clock on the United Stand if you're joining me on there, United fans. If not, we will see you very soon on That's Football. Thanks for watching.